a photo. I even put a photo with him and Blanquita many years ago. So yeah, I'll do that again. Do you want me to, can I email the photograph? Or,
I can give you
okay.
my email address so you can send it to me directly.
Okay.
Call the question. All those in favor?
1,
7.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
All those opposed? 1 abstention.
Wait, so was it 7 or 6?
No, 6.
Yes.
6 to 1 to 1 to 1 0.
6 on 1. Non-committee members?
Oh, yes.
Okay, 2.
Committee.
Put your hand down.
Great. Okay, it passed.
Okay, good. What do you need to pass anyway? I don't even know.
It's,
Oh.
yeah. All right, thank you.
So, can I just take that from you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I just go to this? No, I don't even,
It's
I
really
go, but I
email.
don't.
Just send it
Yeah,
to me.
I'll, yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Maybe
you.
someone will try and name a street after you one day.
I'm holding up for the flag.
All community board members for our service.
The next one is Samantha Friedman Way. Request from PS 333. Who's here to discuss? Oh, yep.
So I brought copies for everyone.
Here, there are copies for everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
So many trees.
They don't do this at your school, do they?
They've got their machines like
Really?
for
everything?
Wow.
No. You got
Oh, there's a
packets.
bunch of packets. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought they were, okay, take one and move it on. There you go. Thank you so much.
Go ahead.
All right. So my name is Raphael Tongan. I'm a special education teacher at PS 333. I'm also PS 333's chapter leader of the United Federation of Teachers. That's our local too. That's our union. Samantha Friedman was my colleague. She was beloved by our entire faculty and the parents and the students. You know, she passed really young. She was only 27 when she passed. Yeah. And she'd been battling brain cancer for several years when she passed. She's really, you know, no words I can say can really do her justice as a human being that we all remember her as. But you know, she never. What we do remember her for is, even though she, you know, faced incredible pain and suffering every single day, she almost never missed work up until the very end. I actually earlier today was getting the last few signatures from our NYPD school safety agents. And you know, when I brought the signature form to them, they said, "Oh, that's the young lady that, you know, collapsed, and we helped her down the steps." So you know, even today, people who signed were brought up memories of Samantha, and you know, so we would like to ask Community Board 7's Transportation Committee to co-name the northeast corner of West 93rd Street and Amsterdam Avenue, Samantha Friedman Way, because PS 333 is situated between Columbus and Amsterdam, closer to Amsterdam. So I feel that corner would be, well, those of us who worked on this feel that the corner would be best, you know, for that dedication. It's also the direction a lot of faculty and students walk towards the 1 and 2 and 3 trains on the way home, and from you know, from the subway to school. So we have a lot of folks who commute to our school going that way, and yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, this would really mean a lot to us. You know, we really miss Samantha, and you know, every day we try to you know, live up to, you know, the high standards she set as an educator and as a human being. And you know, thank you for considering it.
So this as it's written here is a little misleading. You're asking for one of the corners of 93rd Street, either the corner of Columbus or the corner of Amsterdam. You're not asking for both corners, correct?
No, just the northeast corner of 93rd and Amsterdam.
And Amsterdam. Okay.
It's on the top sheet.
Yeah.
93rd.
Roberta brought up the issue that 5A of our guidelines talks about the duration, not the quality of the relationship with the community, but the duration of the relationship to the community, and it talks about a long-term relationship and notes 10 years or longer.
Yes.
How long did she teach at the school?
Since the 2014-2015 school year, so I do understand that that's not compliant with the guidelines. I've read them very carefully. The guidelines also state that exceptions can be made, so
One of the following.
Yeah, the person is deceased and there's no plaque or other official acknowledgement of them in the district.
So she meets at least
Okay.
one of them.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Questions, comments, other thoughts?
Move it.
Call the question. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Against? One. Abstaining?
I also voted against Sesame Street.
that's, no, you're entitled to your vote, it's not.
And he wasn't allowed to go.
Non-committee
meet
members,
the
all those in
Sesame
favor? 2.
Okay.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, this really means a lot to us. What's the final tally, just so I can email all staff from my school?
6000.
No,
and
6-1.
Oh, 6-1. Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
So 6 in favor, 1 opposed, and 0 abstentions. Thank you so
And
much.
the same information we gave the other woman about coming to the full board meeting.
Yeah, if you could
October
provide
2nd.
me with a
If you
paragraph,
provide
I'll
him with
do mine.
information.
Absolutely. I didn't
So-
provide
sorry.
you with the paragraph and a photo because I'd like to be
Oh.
respectful of
Oh.
Samantha's family's
Yeah.
wishes, but certainly,
Send it to this email,
yes,
I'll
what her
forward it.
parents provide is what I will happily share. I'll touch base with them tonight to let them know. Thank you so much. We all really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
We have another email. So
Rich,
send it to both of these
you know that
emails.
you're banned from Disney World.
Okay.
Thank you.
The DNS, district needs
Go,
statement.
Rick.
Yes.
Andrew, you want
That's
to,
the best way to handle it.
yeah.
I didn't really notice this.
You were the one who was fearlessly leading on this issue.
I'm certainly happy to.
Here is, I'll distribute
I
this.
distributed to everybody, months ago when we were considering these. And so this is the final, hopefully this meets what everybody was talking about.
Anyone need one? That one, Mark?
Pretty much everybody responded, so I incorporated everybody's, comments.
Wait, so this is with the comments incorporated?
Yes.
Yeah.
should be.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Images. So, like, just as a factual matter, for example, the bike, we now have 2.5 protected bike lanes. So this is CPW. Like at the very beginning, you know?
Could somebody explain the timeline for how this is moving forward?
We have to do it tonight.
I understand we have to do it
You have
tonight,
to
but
sign off on it.
okay, and when is it getting uploaded and published worldwide, or?
Well, it's getting uploaded as soon as we get it, because we can start uploading it. And, we will then create
Updated
the
numbers for
budget
this?
priorities in October.
Although I guess that
will
wouldn't
get
be for
uploaded.
the
Okay.
2-0.
Sorry, I wasn't here at the last meeting. I was wondering about the 70% of CB7 workers travel by Mass Transit. Is that
No, no, but
staff or
it
is
says
that-
2 protected bike lanes.
I
Now we
assume
have
that
like
was
2.5
people who live in the
protected bike
community.
lanes.
70%.
Oh,
but
CB7
it's not
workers.
done.
Oh,
Yeah.
people-
Yeah.
sorry. I thought it was like out of 50. Yeah,
But it will be.
I got it now.
Sarah,
Thank you.
by the time it's gonna be free. because
Yeah, that's
they're
true.
gonna finish it
Yeah,
as
yeah.
soon as the
We
weather.
So-
can change that to 3 since
And then what about
That's
the,
why I was asking
yeah,
about the deadline.
and the transportation related injuries?
Yeah, that's last
Can we
Tuesday.
update it?
Where is
That's,
that?
obviously a point in time when these are compiled, so,
Okay.
Andrew,
yes.
on page 5, the reference to the $100 million rotunda should now be a $200 million
Yeah.
rotunda.
Oh,
Yeah, I should keep that like,
Where is that?
Should we put
Page
that
5.
growing in parentheses, or?
yeah.
Every time you ask about it, it grows.
I heard 300.
Could we, wait, is this the time where we're editing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
In the emerging technology section, given that we just talked about EVs,
Yeah.
I think we should add them on this third page. We should add them and also include sort of more of what we talked about in our resolution.
Yeah.
That it's not a substitution for focus on
Mass transit, yeah.
What page you
On
on?
the emerging technologies section.
Page
And I
3.
think I wrote that last year, so I'm happy to edit it, but just to,
Page
we're
3
adding in
where?
electric vehicles,
Where is
but
it?
also adding in about a
Page
third of the way
3,
down.
1/3 of the way.
Emerging technologies.
Put in electric vehicles?
Add electric vehicles, but also we should probably include before we even get there, a sentence that is equivalent to the sentence that we were.
Well, we
adding in
had,
our
we had
resolution.
some problems when we were looking at this, because right now there are, electric scooters are not legal,
Right.
and so we have a problem.
Period.
Neither are motorized
So-
bikes.
So we wanted this to come back to the committee, because we don't really wanna have something in the DNS that's not legal.
Right. So remove electric scooters.
I would
Motorized
move
bikes are also
all
not.
electric.
Well,
Pedal
wait.
assist are legal,
We say we support the exploration of emerging
Exploration,
technologies.
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
It's
we.
not
Could I
like
s-
they're here.
Can I make
We
a
can
point about the
explore them
crash
and decide
data?
that we don't want them, but
About what?
they-
The crash data that's on the first
I don't know that we
page.
support it, we haven't,
Just needs to be updated.
we don't have a
well,
resolution.
be-
I have an opinion on it.
We
yeah.
don't have an
I think it's
opinion on it.
stated correctly, we support
Yeah.
exploring it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So the crash data, the way I've been getting the crash data from the citywide is by searching for the 4 zip codes that are in CB7, which are 10023, 24, 25, and 69. I noticed that within the past few years, many fewer crash reports have the zip code. So I had been searching by zip code and missing a number of crashes that are in the report but are only coded by GPS, not by zip code. Yeah, because they're geocoded. So a few months ago, I went in and used that geocoding and tried to isolate each of the crashes based on the geocoding, but it was a lot more time consuming. So it would be pretty difficult to get updated numbers. And also, I think the reductions that were mentioned last year were probably partially or largely because of fewer of the crashes were showing up because they didn't have zip codes, and I was just searching for them by zip code. So we might just remove that section, cause it's not accurate from
Wait, where
last
is
year
that?
and the top of page 1. And I'm not gonna have, depending on the timing of this, I'm just not gonna have time in the next few weeks to go through and translate the geocoding back into, figure out which crashes are in our district.
Yeah, I don't think we need the specific percentages in this.
No, we really don't.
We
We really don't, I
So
think that
remove
could.
those paragraphs?
Yeah, I mean, this led to the part about the immediate
because there were
consideration of
snapshots of
specific
time
intersections,
anyway.
and I think
Yeah,
that's still relevant.
We do wanna change on page 3, obviously, the sentence that says, "We look forward to receiving and acting on DOT's proposal for Central Park West
Right.
protected," because
Yes, I
that's
Yeah.
done.
thought so.
That needs to come out.
But I would add in the Broadway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that in there somewhere? I didn't see it. Is Colleen still here?
No.
Just going back to the emerging technology, do we wanna include the exploration and encourage civilian and commercial drones?
No,
No.
I would like.
absolutely not.
Yeah, it's in there. Can we take that out?
Can we
Where
take
do
it
we,
out?
where does it say we
Wait,
encourage?
no,
Well,
it's,
it's- well, I guess
these are
it-
like
These are,
deliveries
like,
of drones.
Exploration of emerging
So that instead of a
technologies.
truck sitting there and unloading from it, and blocking space and doing emissions, you
Oh,
have
wouldn't that
drones.
be fun in Manhattan?
You have drones
Right.
coming in.
Well, they would land on the top of the building.
It's happening
US
everywhere,
right now.
yeah.
Come to my terrace, right?
Well,
I think
I
it's
mean,
more for like
there's.
really large buildings that have
Yeah.
like their own big deliveries and you
Dro-
land
yeah.
on top of the sky, you know, just clear up the
This
traffic on
is
the
like
ground.
a thing, it's a real thing.
It is a thing, it is
'Cause there's a lot
illegal
of
in the city right
drones
now.
and-
It's not
Right,
only a
but
thing
it-
for us to not put it in is
We
sort of
have
irresponsible.
a
Right.
whole
to-
thing about helicopters, this is not going to go over very big.
Who's gonna, this is.
This is-
I personally have concerns for terrorism and also traffic. There are drones that are flying over the park and they're interfering with civilian aircraft.
Right, so then when we
They're-
talk about
So
them.
we have to
we
regulate
can-
them.
When we talk about
Okay.
them, we can say that we don't want them, but for us not to talk about them, I think is irresponsible.
But isn't it
of our
writing
board.
it, by putting it in here, aren't we affirmatively saying that we are,
That's what.
I'm using the word encouraging, I know it's
No,
not written.
the
like that.
Okay, so
technologies we
here's
want
the
to be
problem.
explored.
So when
This is
we
just
read
a
it-
list of
when we
technologies.
looked at it, we had concerns that
When did we talked about this?
We did.
When
I'm
you
not
say
talking about
encouraging-
transportation.
No, no,
It
I
doesn't.
said-
I'm
It
talking about
doesn't.
the
This
budget.
is just a list.
Oh.
It's
When
in
the
the
budget,
application that we are encouraging the exploration.
when the budget and
You have
strategy,
to look into it.
Yeah, we're
Yeah, I'd
supporting
like to
that.
look into
Wait,
it.
can I
It can be
just-
done safely.
Yeah.
Okay.
when the budget and strategy committee looked at this section, there were concerns about what it meant. So I think maybe the language could be a little.
I'm happy to clarify, work on clarifying that language, but I think for us to omit it is.
That's fine,
Yeah,
but I think
it's
the
pretty
language.
clear.
I agree,
We should
but
look
Yeah.
into
if
it.
if people are freaking out about it, I want it to pass, so like.
Exploration of emerging technologies.
Exploration
Implemented
and analysis,
safely.
or exploration and, analysis.
And
Analysis.
regulate exploration and.
Analysis is good.
Responsible advancement.
Analysis conveys, but it's
Responsible
not all
analysis.
Yes,
the
analysis
Yeah.
is a good word.
And
Okay.
responsible
Okay.
analysis.
Okay,
I'm
good.
cool with that.
There's that, lets
Explore
people
and
know
analyze.
Okay.
that
Yeah.
we're not saying we think it's great.
Right, we're agnostic on this, we just
Right.
wanna.
It
Yeah.
needs to be
Yeah.
looked at.
That's
For
right.
congestion pricing, since now it has passed, do we wanna
What page,
say,
what page?
still on
Right
3, it's
below
like
it.
right below it, do we wanna say anything specific about what we'd like it to look like? In terms of,
And
Do we-
referencing the 61st Street issues that are gonna.
we
yeah,
have
well, I was gonna
residential
bring that
parking
up,
permits in
also,
here?
do we want, no, that's, I don't think in here.
So we should say continues to support congestion pricing.
Right.
And supports the use of a lockbox to make sure all
Right.
the
Yes.
funds are.
That has
Yeah.
to
There
be,
you go.
Yeah.
that has to be really
Totally.
stronger.
Yeah.
Who's,
That's very
Andrew, are you
important.
making the corrections?
I'm doing a lot of it, yeah. But
And you'll-
Elizabeth's gonna write that, I
Yeah.
think, that
Do we wanna-
emerging technology.
And you'll get that to us by the end of this week?
Is it
Excellent.
already mentioned, or do we wanna, mention residential parking permits in here, or is that?
We haven't had the.
Yeah,
haven't
should we
discussed it
wait
yet.
until after the forum?
Oh,
For,
okay.
You know, we can we have two documents, one we submit to the city that we might be able to make some additions to, and one we put up on the web. So the one we put up on the web, we can always make additions to.
Yeah, and there's a parking section above,
Okay.
so
Oh, yes, yeah.
acknowledging that we wanna also like look into how we're using parking spaces.
Right.
Right.
Buses, do we wanna add anything about the traffic priority or transit priority signaling? Like, that we support implementing it?
We gave DOT 12 possible intersections, I believe.
Okay,
and
but
they're-
should we just say,
They
like-
said they're weighing it, as you saw,
Yes.
as you
Yeah,
heard.
just mention it in
We
here.
continue to support
Yeah.
transit signal
But
prioritization
give it to
to speed up the
Andrew,
movement
'cause
of
he's gonna
buses.
make the.
Yeah.
Yeah, where do you wanna put that?
Well, just there's
Oh,
the,
it's
there's
there.
the
We do-
buses section.
Oh, it is there.
Is it?
TSP, yeah, we believe
Wait, where
transit
is
signal
it?
prioritization of certain key.
Oh, where is
users.
that?
It's there.
It's right. It's right
It's
under
under
the
budget
page.
cut.
It's there, yeah.
Where are the loading?
Oh, there it is. It's above
They're
buses.
definitely in there, cause I remember.
Yeah, I forgot, I
weird.
saw it when I looked at it quickly, but I
Yeah.
can't find it now.
I think it should be in the buses
Oh,
section.
yeah, we should, yeah, that's true.
Does anyone see the loading zones?
I thought it was in there, I thought I
Yes,
saw
I
it.
thought I saw it
Definitely
too.
put it in there.
There's loading zones, the middle of page 2,
It's
where
such like a
starting
weird-
with complete streets.
It's not very,
And double
on page
parking.
1,
oh yeah,
second-
shared streets is
second
the
bullet point
section.
under MCA, and, welcomes a comprehensive district-wide analysis of transportation
Yes.
issues and immediate consideration given to, second one, continued monitoring of
Here,
commercial
that
loading
way.
zones.
Yeah.
I see it on the
Yeah.
First page.
Page 2.
First-
Continued monitoring of commercial loading zones, okay, but where is our call for?
It's on three, it's on here, two,
Page 3?
2.
2.
Manhattan CB7 requests DOT implement as soon as possible the loading zone plan adopted by MCB7 for Central Park West and Western.
Great.
Great, okay.
Mid-page 3, we talked congestion pricing. Do we
Yes.
wanna,
We just talked about
Did
that.
you?
It's
Okay.
there.
I think on the whole, it's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, do we want, yeah. Is it worth specifically addressing the whole Target situation?
No.
Or
None
just
of- none of this
like the
document, I don't
intersection maybe at 61st and Columbus or something?
well, did you talk about that for congestion
Congestion
pricing, that we're
pricing.
worried about the impacts of congestion pricing?
Right, like maybe talking about,
Well, yeah, north of the boundary of
Right,
congestion.
how we're
pricing.
gonna
You said
deal
the
with.
neighborhood is
I think we should
Yeah.
say that since congestion pricing is going into effect,
right,
that at the end of our
district.
district, that
Or
we're.
beginning, depending on your.
Or whatever, at the edge of our district, that we're concerned that, what the impacts will be, and we'll continue to monitor.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You might even, do the, what are the words we use, explore and analyze.
Analyze, yeah.
Explore and
Right,
analyze.
exactly.
I would do an explore and analyze for page 2/3 the way down for
Exactly.
loading zones on the avenues, Amsterdam and Columbus.
Right.
There are times where that's one lane,
I know.
You bet.
so I would throw that in.
And it's just, you know, yeah. Could I raise a point about, budget priorities, which are the last two pages? I was saying before about the $100 million project now being a $200 million project. But I'm wondering whether we need to say anything about that project at all. Roberta, it's fully funded, isn't it?
No, we don't have to put it in at all.
Yeah.
The rotunda can come out?
Oh,
Absolutely.
Either it comes out, or it has to be edited because, it suggests, as written, that the Parks Department's gonna be putting money into it, and as I understand it, and Roberta, you probably have a closer, hand on this, all of the money is coming from DOT, from Bridges Division of DOT. So they're doing what you asked them to do, it's just not gonna come out.
I don't think there's anything in here that,
Do we need it in there?
no, I
Now that it's
would
funded?
I would pull the whole thing out.
Pull the whole thing.
On page, I'm sorry, on page 3, it says ensuring safety for cyclists is paramount, as is educating cyclists to obey the rules of the road and bike safety. I agree with that, but also it's encouraging safety for cyclists and pedestrians alike, and educating both cyclists and pedestrians to obey the rule of the road. We're having conflicts with cyclists and pedestrians. A lot of pedestrians are not paying attention to the
Right.
rules of the road,
Totally.
and cyclists, some cyclists are not also. So can we make that sort of a bilateral?
I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
And then the sentence right after it, we don't need, because it's asking for the DOT's plan on the Central Park West, and you got that.
Right, we already
So,
have that, yeah.
That-
ensuring safety for cyclists
And
And
pedestrians is
pedestrians.
paramount, yes.
As is educating and
cyclists
pedestrians.
and pedestrians
Yeah.
to obey rules of the road. And safety, I mean, we're.
And share the road safely.
Yes.
So for this,
That's
we
great.
do say we
Is
don't
this
do
in
it.
any order, and should it be categorized or
I think.
Well,
made to be more easy to read?
I think partly that's just because they put it in an online system.
Yeah.
Because it is sort of categorized.
But just based off what I see on the
It's
website.
just hard
Can we
to
put headers
see.
in, or-
Well, there, I
Great,
think,
okay, then
see,
I'll-
these are like the headers,
Okay.
you know, bike ridership, buses,
One
congestion
for community,
pricing.
one for full board.
It's
Right,
just
and
that,
basically
I think
we
it's
do
the
just
weird,
follow
I think
this.
they like
So
copied
these
it
are
from
all
somewhere and then
these,
pasted it into a
Yeah.
document, so we lost the
Oh, you
formatting.
don't have to put who was here.
Red light
I think that's what happened.
The board office presented
Red
just
light
minutes to
camera. Oh, these
education
are-
committee, September 10th, 2019. And then
Is there like a sort of like
you can pull this off of the
pull this off the website?
web and
Okay.
then just stick it in.
And do I send it as a, I send it
Do
to
we know, by the way, why we lost the
Send a copy
countdown
to Howard
clocks
County.
on the
We'll
pedestrian
have it.
crossing at 86
Okay.
And then
and Broadway?
you send-
You lost them?
Oh, I didn't
Yeah,
realize
there's no
that.
more
That's a
countdown
PDF.
clock,
Really?
it's
Word
just an
document.
orange
Manual.
flashing
Send it.
can.
Huh.
It happened like a week and a half ago,
That
maybe?
probably won't
I know that
be many
the
edits.
reason why they were
That's fair.
implemented was because there were greater accidents or incidents there.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Everybody.
so that, I was a little concerned to see them
This is really
gone.
good.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Should I,
That's a,
do,
do we know
we
yet?
lost the countdown clocks on the pedestrian crossing at Broadway and 86?
They're putting them back.
Okay,
Oh.
it's just,
I
They
thought it
took-
was temporary.
It was just temporary.
Oh, okay.
do we know when they're coming back?
I forgot
Okay.
to ask Colleen,
Okay.
but they are, no, that's
Okay.
temporary, we're not, they were doing something, I forget what it was, and they're gonna put them back.
We have funding to build the sidewalk along Riverside Drive for better bus access for pedestrians. Do we know where that is? And that was just implemented at 100th Street. So is it other places as well? Or is that done?
That was a particular
that's
problem
done.
location, I think that's why that was done.
So that could come out.
Or do we want it for other places?
Where is it, Rich?
Towards the bottom of page 4. About an inch up from the bottom. You know what else we should have is update the markings in Central Park, which hasn't been done since Central Park is car free. So all the
I think there needs to be a comprehensive plan for Central Park.
Yes,
That's,
there really
it's not
does.
just simply the markings. It's chaos,
Yeah.
and it's just a vestige of when there were cars there.
Right.
It needs to be a complete rethinking of that
So
whole.
is that something we put in?
Yeah, we should.
Put it as a budget item?
No,
I don't think it's.
Or
when
just
you think about it.
earlier in the.
Is that a parks issue? I mean,
That's really not our district, yeah.
It really is a parks.
Alright.
It's
parks
a solely,
issue.
par- it's just the loop.
They're gonna meet.
I thought it is our district.
They're gonna meet Monday, so I'll send them an email.
It's our district,
Yeah,
but
they
it's
need
more
to
of it's not
rewrite the
our,
whole
cause it's
thing.
parks.
Yeah.
It's a parks
This is
design.
the city council district, like encompass Central Park.
Well,
Yeah, I think it's our thing, but it's not our committee.
Who has jurisdiction over the loop? Is it DOT or Parks?
It's a combination.
In which case
So
it is
we
our.
should put it in ours
It's
too
not
then.
CB7.
It's not CD7?
If it's a DOT issue
they're
in
watching.
Central Park.
Sure.
Oh, yes.
Do we have
It's shared
chairs
because we have,
We
Oh, yeah,
do
we-
all of the.
in the winter.
All of the boards surrounding the park have,
Okay, then let's ask for a comprehensive plan
yeah.
for
I think we
traffic.
can ask in parks and in DOT.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
should ask them
I know.
both.
I think that's a
And
good-
we should
good
communicate to
request,
the other-
because right now it's total chaos.
And we should communicate to the other community boards too.
You know that we
Go.
have bears in Central?
But they're gonna vote next, Tuesday, but it does.
They've been looking hotty.
Nice, nice.
Are we completed? Any
I think
other
so.
new business?
New business.
Yep. Oh, wow, a lot
To
of.
your point, okay, I'm not sure if this is the right way to ask the question or forum, but I'll try that anyway. I guess you know about these passenger and parcel loading zones that they've introduced, because there's 3 between here and where I live on 89th Street. And
On West End Avenue?
yeah.
Yes.
And it seems to be all they're doing is a money spinner to issue parking tickets, because people really can't read them. And the woman that did the charging station thing, she's talking about a 12-foot high charging station and 5-foot wide sign, and yet these loading zones are just the same, and people just don't notice that they're any different. So, when I wrote to the DOT, they said it was done in collaboration with you, so here I am. And so can't these signs be made a little bit easier for people to read? I mean,
They can't read them?
well, it's just like if you're just driving up, I mean, you know,
But,
it's.
and you park there,
Pardon?
you're saying that someone parks there and then gets a ticket because they didn't realize it was a loading
every day,
zone?
I mean, every day, even people that.
Are the
work
signs
in
not big enough or not frequent enough?
Well, it's the same, have you seen them?
I haven't lately, no.
Okay, well, they're the same as the regular signs, and it just says, and there's one sign, because it just changes the
That-
20 feet of what it is from, you know, alternate side parking to
parking,
no
loading
parking.
zone, is that
And then
what
the
it's-
next sign, it goes back to normal, so there's just one sign, and it's, you know, usually on the north end of where you're gonna park.
With
you
the
know,
arrow
the park.
facing south.
Right, it's ahead of where you've just parked.
It should be
But,
Should be
but,
both ends.
you know, there's a lot of trees and we've got an awning,
It should be
so
both ends
it's
of
not
the
that you're
loading
like
zone.
driving, well, or a red sign or something.
How is
It-
the zone delineated on the pavement? or-
It's okay, that one's not right.
Well, yeah, a curb painting or something, or a
Yeah.
red
That would be
sign.
a
Plus,
curb.
it's not really obvious
Yeah.
that it's for loading, cause it just says no parking.
Does it give hours? Or
Yeah, it
just-
says Monday to Friday, you know, 8 to 6.
Oh,
Now,
so
what
you
they
wouldn't
have
want
done
curb-
since this is they strapped a little
be quiet.
sign with a guy with a package, but that doesn't.
That's a very good suggestion.
Right.
We'll
I
definitely
mean,
follow up on it.
yeah, I mean-
I don't know whether you need signs on both ends of the loading zone or striping the
I
curb,
I think
but
striping, because if people pull in, they'll look at it and think,
Couldn't
you know, it's
agree
red
more.
striping, and then
Yeah.
read it some more.
That's a really good
But
point.
otherwise, they just see it. I
and
mean,
especially we're calling for more loading zones, so we need to get it right.
But yeah,
Well,
just so you
I've heard
know,
all
it's
this.
it's not a money grab. I know people say
listen,
that
it's